G'day and welcome to the episode. I'm Tim James and this is Island Life. In this episode, we're going to look at how I forged this fishing knife out of this rusty old truck spring. Now, my friend Kasia approached me about making a knife for her father's birthday. He's a keen fisherman and she wanted to get a fishing knife made. This is only my second knife that I've made. You might have seen the earlier video where I made a boning knife. The same way, out of the same truck spring. So this particular knife is for Gary's birthday. Gary, happy birthday, mate. I hope this knife brings you many, many years of enjoyable fishing experiences. Anytime you want me to work on it, let me know. I'll resharpen it or touch it up as required. So happy birthday, mate, and let's have a look at how I made Gary's fishing knife. Alrighty, so I've got my steel blank cut out from the truck spring. It's a bit wider than the first knife build. If you remember the first knife build, if you watched it, I used that as a template. This knife, because it's going to be a fishing knife, is going to be the same, except it's going to have a slightly larger handguard, just so that when you're using it, when the end user is using it, and he's covered in fish slime, his hand is protected from sliding onto the blade. So everything's going to be the same, except I just got to extend this bit out. So what I'm trying to do with this forging process is basically just get the shape of the blade and the extra little part for the handguard shaped out, and then I'll take it into the workshop and I'll start grinding. Actually, I'll probably do it here. I'll start grinding it out and get it into as close to the final product as I can with the grinder, and then I'll straighten it in the bench vise, and then I'll do the heat treatment process. This time, I've got a proper forge, a proper anvil. I bought a railway sleeper anvil. I think it's going to be perfect for the job. It's bolted down. It's on a piece of wood that's 2 feet into the ground and 2 feet above the ground, so that's nice and solid as well. I'm going to use the same forge with the same air injection machine called a hairdryer as I did last time. I've got the coal ready. I'm all set to go. I think I've got everything I need, so I'm going to start hammering away on this new bit of steel. So let's get into the forging process. Okay, so that went really well. Took about an hour of hammering, but I've now got a good blank, still hot, but I've got a good blank that is bigger than the template in all dimensions. So that's looking really nice. It's not completely straight, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch out the anvil for the bench vise. I'll bolt the bench vise down to the stump, turn the forge back on, and go through a process of just slowly straightening out the blade. Once that's done, I'll take the grinder to it, get it nice and smooth, and then we can start drilling holes in it, and then we can look at the heat treatment process, and then finally filing it all down and then sanding it all down to the final knife. But for now, fire this back up, swap that out, and in the other order, swap that out, and then fire the forge back up and straighten this blade. It's looking good though, I'm happy with that. Okay, we're really getting there now. We've got the 2 holes drilled for the pins that'll hold the scales on, which will make up the handle, and 2 more holes in the middle there, which are just for the epoxy to go through so that the scales do bond together with the epoxy. We've got a nice finish on the blade. There's a few low spots on the handle. That's not going to matter because that'll get filled up with epoxy. It'll be hidden by the handles, which are going to be out of dark wood called acacia. I've ground a little bit of a chine in there. I don't want to run the blade too thin because we'll lose material when we do the heat treatment process, which is what we're going to do now. So that's going to be 3 cycles to normalize it up to full temperature, where it goes non-magnetic with the rare earth magnet. Once I can find no magnetism on the blade, I know that I've exceeded the temperature I need to normalize it. Then it'll cool down just in the air. I'll do that 3 times. Then we need to temper it. Then we need to harden it, which is do the same thing, and we quench it in oil. The oil will be preheated to around 60 degrees Celsius. So it doesn't cool it too fast, but it cools it fairly fast. That'll make it really hard. And then we need to temper it because that'll be actually too hard. It'll be brittle, and if it's dropped, it'll shatter, or it could shatter or crack. So we'll then temper it in the oven, and that'll be 3 cycles, 2 hours per cycle. I'll clamp it in angle iron so that it can't bend or twist, and if we do pick up any warps or twists or bends in this heat treatment process, that should take care of that in the oven. So I need to fire up the forge again and heat treat this beautiful looking knife. Okay, it's now 7 o'clock at night. We've just done the third 2-hour cycle at 170 to 180, and we're done. I think. I don't know for sure because the blade picked up a really nasty warp when I did the quenching in the oil. It looked like a banana. And so I've set it up to try and take the bend out during the tempering process. And I don't know if that's worked or not. So we'll pull it apart. I'll move the camera closer and we'll see. I might have to do one more tempering cycle. I'll just move the camera closer and we'll see how this thing looks. Alrighty. I'll just see how this goes. Fingers crossed. We've taken that warp out of the blade. Nope. No, the warp's still there. I'm going to have to do another heat treatment. Wow, it's almost got worse. It has got worse. That's not good. Alrighty, attempt number 3 to straighten this blade. It's 10 o'clock at night now. I've been trying to get this blade to straighten out for hours. I've just cooled it down with water. See that rapid cooling from 180 degrees helps. I guess we'll find out. Alrighty, finally. That worked. That's taken me... I've done the 3 tempering cycles and then I did 3 more cycles with this blade bent like a banana in the opposite direction to try and get that warp out of it. Still a tiny little bit there. I'll be able to take that out with the grinder. Finally! Okay, we're good. Alright, that's it for the night. I'll pick this up again in the morning and we'll finish this build. Okay, so 1 hour later, we've got some nice bevels in there. It's looking good. The blade's apexed, so it's ready to take an edge, which I'll do last, obviously. Now it's time to put the handles on, or the scales that will make the handle. So I'll put pin there out of this stainless, and I'll cut this up, and then we'll grind it all, epoxy it on, grind it back, and then we're ready to sharpen it and finish the knife. Nearly there. Alrighty, so there you have it. That's how I made Gary's fishing knife. I hope you've enjoyed this episode. If you have enjoyed this episode, please click on the like button, and hitting subscribe will help you find future videos that I post. It helps me out too. Again, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode, in which I'm going to make a sheath for Gary's knife. Until then, take care. I hope all's well in your part of the world, and we'll see you in the next episode. Bye.